So today, before beginning, like this kind of content, check out our project. This is the reason that the world seems to have gone mad. I mean, you're talking about us trying to send a message that we can provide a viable alternative that will bring you professionalism and will bring you a good project. Because of that, well, people in that mainstay industry and the people they empower to basically browbeat other folks, yeah, they went insane. So if you want to support not only a project, but a message, check it out. There are 2 comic books associated with it, but again, it's one statement, and that statement, it's one these people don't seem to be able to ignore. Hey there, so today I want to talk about this article, and I want to talk about an association here with essentially you have somebody aiming something at my life that could very much end up like this. This person is associated with a company that these 2 folks work for as well, and that company, it has nothing to say. Now, to get to this, however, I have to show you a few things. So if you'll indulge me here, I may talk through some of it, but if you want to actually see some of this all laid out, you can go and check out The Quartering. You can go and check out Geeks and Gamers. Ethan Van Sciver talked about it. Of course, props to Yellow Flash on that for being the first person to bring this stuff up. People have been aiming at my life. Now, when they were doing that, they essentially were aiming all of my information out there, hanging it out because, hey, they don't like you. Now, one of those folks, Shannon McCormick, we're talking about a voice actor here. And this voice actor, he doesn't like me. Why doesn't he like me? Well, because I went to Anime Matsuri, which is essentially an anime convention, if you've never heard of it. We were invited to it, myself, Nick Ricada, and others. We were invited as a panelist, but also I was invited as press to cover what had been going on with both the convention and with Vic Mignogna. Now, Shannon McCormick is one of the people that decided he was going to go out and he was going to help burn down Vic Mignogna's life, and he was going to do that with impunity because you're allowed to do that. You're allowed these days to step on the social media stage, say anything you want, threaten any way you want, and well, you're not going to have any blowback. So he, associated with other people out there, decided that they would dox me. They had been playing a game, certain people, for months, saying they didn't have my information, while people around them threatened my children. I mean, if you think about that idea, they threatened my kids with CPS. But again, it was all predicated on the idea. It's all a joke. It's all a joke, man. This stuff, it continued to spin and spin until they decided to start throwing my information out there. Now, of course, they want to hide this after the fact as, it's a discussion about Harry Potter. Never mind the identifying information that's in the discussion. Never mind the way that they end it, saying, look at the umbrella guy. Yeah, this stuff was aimed at me. Now, in this, too, this, again, voice actor that works for Rooster Teeth notes, I've been holding this in my back pocket for the right time, but I'm here for this. I'm holding it in my back pocket for the right time. Now that add-on there, he'll try to play that off and say, yeah, I wasn't going to do anything, but for the right time. That says that that's going to be aimed at you. It's a form of at least blackmail, but later on, it could be anything more. Now, this person hints at that too. They hint at why they do that, because Tug is lurking around their public profile, their freaking public profile, wherein they're a verified user of Twitter. Because of that, they're going to hold your identity in their back pocket because they want to, again, put you in your place. That's the thing that these folks, they don't like. They don't like you talking about who they are. They don't like you talking about how they call people, well, a certain word that starts with N and ends with I, because, yeah, these people, if they're actually held to that standard, the standard they want to hold other voice actors to? No. Now, you can see that, too. Trying to deny it. I was holding it in my back pocket, but I was never going to do anything with it. Right. Sure you weren't. Now, you see how this stuff escalates, too? You see the threats that come from it. You can see, like in these two statements, I think they're a very telling one. And again, this will relate to that article in just a moment. Once you know his name, talking about myself here, it's real easy to find out literally everything about him. So the stuff they're playing with, yeah, when you bring on your pet psychos, they tell you. Once you know his name, it's very easy to find out everything. The question now is he smart enough to, well, you know that wording, shut the up? Or will he keep harassing people who now know where he lives? You know, will he keep talking about bad behavior? Will he keep talking about being a professional? Will he harass them because they don't know how to do their jobs and to treat people decently? Then that continues too. My money is he will double down and put himself and his family at risk by even being more of a harassing. And then the cops will have to get involved and jobs will be lost. You see the threat in there? The threat that is very, very predictable? Yes, there's a sadly predictable arc there. So how does this statement here and also this statement here, how does that tie in to that initial article? Well, this initial article is about YouTubers that worked for a company that also employed that voice actor. We're talking about Rooster Teeth. Now, Rooster Teeth, they have fired somebody recently because of quote-unquote unprofessional behavior. They decided to make a little bit of a spectacle out of it too, but it's interesting what is an issue and what isn't. So here are people that have worked with Rooster Teeth before. And this article, it tells you a story of a quote-unquote obsessed fan that came calling with well, you see what they brought with them. In fact, it's mentioned here, a 45. Now, when I'm talking about this stuff, too, I kind of detach from the reality of it because it allows me to discuss it. But knowing this is somebody that could aim this kind of guided missile at your life, that is absolutely crazy. And especially knowing that this is over the idea that you talk about anime, you talk about due process, and people out there that have a problem with it, you don't take anything from them. So this goes through and talks about January 2018, talks about someone loading themselves up in their car, bringing a 45 with them, taking an 11-hour trip to Texas and detaching from the real world. Talks about them pulling up to the home, how they know the home because of, and how they go in, and because they're infatuated or because they have some kind of want to connect, that could be anger or otherwise. I mean, really, you think about why people would do that. They decide to enter the home and with, again, the idea that they're going to do harm. These people, they hide. This story, like I say, I'm going to put it in the description. You should check that out. But they hide from that. And the police, they show up within 4 minutes. That, it saves their life. When the police enter, that person is left. And that person, they go out to their car and they end everything. So it tells you how that story would have gone if. Now, what's terrifying about that stuff is, again, you see some of the issues that have come up. And this stuff, again, it's being pointed at people's real life. The company that's associated with it, again, you see the name of them there. This company knows what kind of damage could be done from something like that. And yet, they don't care. It doesn't matter. They're willing to deal with issues when it comes to accusations. They're willing to launch an investigation into that. But hey, you try to hold them to that standard and say, look at what your employees are doing. Look at what people that are associated with you, the stigma that they bring by doing this. Nothing there. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. This stuff, too, it turns you off to escapist platforms. For myself, I don't ever want to buy a product from any of these folks again. I will never recommend it, and I won't be quiet about it. Because all of this, again, if you look at that Doyle statement, all of this is predicated on the idea that someone, they will be quiet, they will STFU or else. And that or else, well, again, So anyway, you tell me about this. You tell me what you think about this kind of crazy and what level we're talking about these folks going to. How much damage they could do because they don't want bad optics and they don't want people talking about how they aren't professional. They go out, they call people that associate with this company N to the A to the Z to the I. They call them ists and phobes. They attack anyone that doesn't want a lockstep. They attack people that also work for those companies too, saying this person is some type of a monster, and yet this is their own behavior. I mean, if we're talking about behavior, if we're talking about going and saying that people have to be professional, But anyway, you tell me what you think. As I said at the beginning, there's a message here. This, the case of the Littlest Umbrella, it's not just our comic. It's our message to gatekeepers. I mean, when you look at people that are associated here, when this person talks about their associate being hassled, what they're talking about are people that went absolutely mad when we launched this project. Months of it, months of crazy, because, well, we had the audacity to defy gatekeeping. There are 2 comic books associated with it. You want to send a message? Yeah, this is how you do it. You go out, you send that message, you send it loudly, because these folks, they can't stand that idea. They can't stand the notion that they don't control this stage. They don't control escapism. Also, I want to know what you think about the article, so leave me comments, pro or con. You can say whatever you want out there, unless, of course, the platform doesn't allow you to. Also, I want to end by saying I appreciate you folks. There's been a lot of crazy going on over the last few days, and, well, there have been a lot of people that have talked about that. I appreciate that because, well, standing alone in it, it is absolutely a crazy thing to deal with. These people, they tell you, you better back down or else. And other people, they stand up and say, nah. I appreciate that, so I want to thank you. And I want to end on that. We'll be doing this again soon. Thank you.